Hey y'all, so today is the first day of the month. So I hope you all are burning your road opener candles to smooth the way for opportunities to come to you and help you manifest your goals in the coming month. It's also the beginning of June, and June is Pride Month. It's a month set aside to celebrate and honor the LGBTQ plus community. And right now in the world, uh, we have a lot of things going on in major cities with looting, demonstrations, protests, and whatnot that was sparked by the murder of George Floyd by a police officer in Minneapolis. And so this is a good time to remind you, especially those you people who are complaining about the looting and the rioting and the demonstrating, uh, and especially you gay people, that uh, it was a black woman or a black transsexual or maybe drag queen, I don't remember, who threw the first brick at Stonewall. And LGBT Pride Month started as the last day and Sunday to celebrate um, the what happened at the Stonewall riots, which sparked the beginning of human rights for gays, lesbians, bisexuals, transgenders, and queer people. Um, One of the big campaigns associated with Pride Month, you probably heard about it. It's called "It Gets Better," and it's this whole campaign about how if you just sort of stick in there, be strong, life gets better for you, and it's directed toward gay people. So today I wanted to share with you my own It Gets Better story. I call this Chants of a Lifetime, or the spell that changed my life forever. So picture it, South Carolina, 1989. I think I was either in 10th grade or 11th grade, and I told y'all before in past videos how I was really shy growing up. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was bullied and picked on because of my perceived gayness, which I, they were right, I was gay, but that didn't mean they should harass and bully me. It was just that I knew I just wasn't in a place or a mindset where I could admit it to other people. I waited until I graduated high school, had a job, and had my own place before I started living more openly, because at that time and that place it just wasn't safe. But anyway, like I said, I was probably in 10th or 11th grade, and I remember being in study hall. Study hall was presided over by Miss Valentina Boulware. And Miss Valentina Boulware, she loved her tabloids. She would read, the Inquirer, the Weekly World News, all these things, and she would bring in her old issues and leave them in the study hall for, the kids to look at, to keep them, something to read, keep them quiet when they didn't have any schoolwork to do. And I remember one day I was in study hall and I was flipping through the Weekly World News, and I came across this article right here that I'm about to show you. It is Secret Chants to Bring You Money, Love, Health, and Happiness. And this was published in 1989. I did a little research before I wanted to do this video. They reprinted this story in 1998 and I believe again in 2003. And supposedly, now you have to remember this is the Weekly World News. Supposedly, these chants were discovered by an archaeologist at a abandoned monastery in Tibet, and they were handed down from generation to generation between the monks. And then there were also basically testimonials speaking to the speaking to the powerfulness of the chants. And so, according to the story, this archaeologist worked with some professors at a college in China, and they tested out the chants, and they worked for a high number of people. Again, this is the Weekly World News. It was probably made up. But anyway, there were 4 chants here. One was to bring happiness. One was to bring love. The other was to bring lasting good health. And the last one was to bring money. Now, I told y'all also how in the past I suffered with some depression. And at this time in my life, I was very unhappy. I was depressed a lot, and at one point I even really seriously considered suicide, but it never got so bad enough that I was brave enough to actually do it. I didn't want to die. What I found out was I wanted to live, but I wanted to live and be happy. So, desperate as I was to be happy, I thought, well, it wouldn't hurt to try this. So, I took out my notebook and I wrote down the instructions for these chants and how you do them. And it says that they work better if you meditate for a little bit before you do them. Now, the one for happiness, let me read it to you. It says, let me go back a minute. The incantations are short and easy to learn, Dr. Chi said. They must be spoken after a period of meditation to have maximum effect. Here are the 4 ancient mystical chants. To bring happiness, repeat the words Lo, An, Ta, Fa, Ri once every day for 7 days. So, I think I started on a Sunday because I'm really anal. And so I started on a Sunday and finished on a Saturday. And when I woke up in the morning, I would just sort of lay there, and I figured morning would be a good time because you just slept and you're still kind of relaxed. And so I just sort of laid there and I imagined what happiness meant to me. What did happiness look like to me? And then I just sort of chanted the little chant for a little bit before I got up. Now, I did that for 7 days, and I'm going to be honest with you. That 7 days was probably the worst 7 days of my life. Things just got really, really worse, bad. Or maybe I'm just remembering it that way. But, you know, I remember one incident where I got to school a little bit early, and, you know, people sort of congregate with their friends, or, you know, they walk the halls and they wait for the 8 o'clock bell for class to start. I was just, you know, standing in one place against a wall and minding my own business, just waiting for 8 o'clock so I can go on to class and, you know, not feel so exposed and sitting out there. And all of a sudden I felt something hit my cheek, and then something else and something else. And what it was, there was a group of boys over this way shooting spitballs at me. And back then, like I said, I was still kind of shy, introverted. I hadn't really developed the skill of standing up for myself the way I should. And so I just kind of stood there and let it happen. And eventually what happened, the vice principal came over and shooed them boys away. He never came up to me and said anything to me. He never spoke to me. He just made them go away. But it was just a really embarrassing, really humiliating experience. Another time I remember coming to school that morning, and I opened up my locker, and someone had taken a drink from like Hardee's. We had a Hardee's growing up, of ice, and poured it over the top of my locker. And the first thing I noticed when I opened the locker was just this coolness, but then I noticed like water running down. It didn't really bother my books or anything in there, but it was just the thought that somebody felt like they had to do that. And then I know another time I came in to school in one morning, and somebody had took a pencil and scrawled the word fag on my locker. Anyway, like I said, that week was very bad, and that was the week that I really struggled between maintaining hope that life would get better and seriously considering suicide or even running away. But I stuck through it. I just kept thinking I got to get through this week. I got to get through this week. And so I completed the ritual, and, I thought in my stupidity or naivety, I thought things would just sort of change like that. But that didn't happen. Things did change. Things did get better. I don't know if I just got stronger or people just took pity on me and they backed away, but things did get better. Things got a lot better. My life got happier. I came out of my shell more. I started making friends. People sort of let me be. And I'm not saying it completely stopped, but it tapered off. And I developed the skill to stand up to people who tried to bully me. Also, I noticed too, like in my senior year, towards the end of the year, it seemed like everybody just changed. I guess they thought, we're all about to graduate. It was almost like we had all been in a play. We were playing parts, and now that play was coming to an end, and people's real personality was coming out. I had a lot of people just, surprisingly to me, come up to me wanting me to sign their annual, wanting to sign mine, like our entire history, our entire past didn't happen. It was very confusing. And I will say this too, when my 20-year reunion came up, I didn't go. I was contacted by someone, and I was still bitter maybe about things. I don't want to say bitter. I don't know why. It was just to the point where I felt like that was another time in my life that's in the past, and I didn't want to revisit it anymore. But anyway, the whole point of my story is it did get better, and it got a lot better. I have a great life that I really like. It may not be the life that other people want for me, but I've had, I've gone further than I thought I would ever go. Never in my life did I ever dream that I would move so far away from home and live such an independent life. I struggled for a lot of years, but I've come to a place in my life where I have security. I have a home that I like. I have friends. I have fans. I became an author. I became a writer. Just very, very empowered. But anyway, that is my story. That is the chant, the spell that changed my life forever. And if you're interested in these other chants here, I'm going to take a photo of this and post it on my Instagram page so you can see this in its entirety. If you don't follow me or you don't have Instagram, you can still go to the Instagram website and look at people's profiles, as long as their profile is not private. Mine is not private. So you can find me on Instagram at Carolina_Dean. Anyway, I hope you have a great Pride Month. I hope all your intentions manifest and you have a great day, and I will see you next time.